So like a lot of kids, I wound up at the orthodontist one day to find out that I needed braces. I had what the doctors call a malocclusion. Basically, I had a slight overbite and one of my bottom teeth didn't come in quite right. It was set behind all the others. Now when I was a little kid, I thought braces were cool because I didn't really understand what they were for. So when I saw my cousins had them, I thought, "Those are so cool, I want those!" I also thought it was just, you got your braces, you wore them for a while, and you got them off. Boy was I wrong. I didn't know the sort of torture I would have to endure over 4 long years. I had no idea how braces worked. I thought they just placed things on your teeth, and your teeth just sort of corrected themselves through some sort of magic. But no. It's way longer and much more complicated than that. They had to set rubber bands between 2 of my molars on each side. This was to make space for the mouth metal to be put in later. Afterward, my mouth felt weird, and being at a relatively innocent 11 years old, I was optimistic. Okay, I just gotta keep these between my teeth, that's easy. And it was easy. Sort of. Not really. Yeah, to prevent even the slightest chance that these will come out from your teeth, here's a list of foods you can't eat. That's right, there were some dietary restrictions that came with the newly acquired foreign objects on my teeth. Now, the only foods I really knew you couldn't eat was sugar-laden gum, caramels, and taffy, and that made sense, because they're sticky and could easily pull out certain metal or non-metal objects. Hey, I've had some taffies that could easily pull out a loose tooth. Nom! Oh boy, I get $1 tonight! But that's not all. The list also included stuff like popcorn and licorice, which again made sense. I don't really like either of those, so it wasn't a big deal to me anyway. But there was one thing that stuck out to me like a sore thumb out of the list. Chips and salsa, one of my all-time favorite snacks. My family's glorious chip dip. You put a big dollop of cream cheese in a bowl and pour some salsa on top. The cream cheese just adds something that takes the salsa just a little bit higher. I can't put it to words, but it does, and I would wind up not having it for the entire time I went to the orthodontist. These next few years are gonna be rough. After about 1 year after getting the rubber bands in, my mom took me into the orthodontist again. The dentist sets me in the chair and says, "Okay, we finished with rubber bands, on to the next step." Do I get my braces now? Oh, you naive boy, no. The next step was headgear. And this was honestly the step in the process that I hated the most. They jammed these metal rings into my molars, same ones that used to have the rubber bands. And at night, I was supposed to attach a device to these rings that made my head look like Saturn. Before bed. Every night. I had to sleep with the device pulling on my top teeth, meaning I woke up with a sore mouth more often than not, and the device was wide enough to make sleeping on my side impossible, which was very frustrating because I usually sleep on my side and stomach. Then, I'd wake up to find that the headgear had popped out of one of the rings in the middle of the night, and occasionally, that meant the headgear had stabbed the inside of my cheek. But that's nothing compared to the rings themselves. Anytime they gave out prizes in any of my classes, it was almost invariably some sort of candy that I couldn't eat. And one time, I thought to myself, okay, maybe one won't hurt. Nom! The loose tooth remover struck again, and my mom and dad had to make a call to the orthodontist. But that was only the first time the rings came out. I followed the instructions practically to the letter after that, and every now and then, the rings would just pop out of their own accord. Nom! Dang it. Dang it! Look, we gotta bring the big dictionaries, because otherwise we're gonna lose the battle of the books. The kids at the other schools are packing... Oh, come on! Then I went to the orthodontist to yet again get the ring put back in. And the orthodontist said words that sounded like a symphony after all my suffering. Yeah, we're going to move on to step 3. Congratulations, you don't have to wear the medieval torture device every night. Being honest though, that's not what he actually said, but that's how I heard it. I finally got my braces, and I thought my problems with orthodontic apparatus were over. It couldn't be simpler. After all I had to do was not eat the things I wasn't supposed to, right? Right? Wrong! So I wasn't constantly getting stabbed in the guns by headgear anymore, but I still had the problem of something on my braces always breaking. I could just be eating normally or talking normally, and one of the brackets would just break off. And I didn't even break any of the rules the entire time. And I had to endure that for 2 years when most people only have to deal with it for 1. And to make matters worse, I had to watch my older brother rush through the entire process even though he broke the rules all the freaking time. That's so unfair, what the? The day I got my braces removed was one of the best days of my life. I indulged in every single food I wasn't able to eat all those years. I hate this popcorn, but I missed it so much! I got a retainer that day, and for a while I wore that whenever I wasn't eating. And eventually, my orthodontist told me I could wear it at night. And that was a mistake. Cause I followed that for a while, but eventually, I just fell off the wagon with it. Now I know what you're thinking. Brenton, you were supposed to keep wearing that! But my teeth have stayed straight, so maybe the orthodontists that say you need to wear retainers for life after braces are full of it? I don't know, I was just sick of keeping track of the case. In any case, I stopped going to the orthodontist after that, or any sort of dental professional, aside from annual checkups, until I was in my senior year of high school. I had to get my wisdom teeth removed. Now, until then, I was never knocked out for surgery of any kind. Huh. I guess that's one of the few ways I have been lucky. So they put the anesthetic needle in my arm and told me to count back from 30. So I started counting back from 30. As I got to about 9, I started getting real giggly. 8, 7. My brain power was fading, but I would reach 0. I had to. The world depended on it! I actually drifted off around 3, but the hygienists told me I reached 0. They were actually pretty impressed. Since I was out cold, I don't remember anything about the actual surgery, but I do remember waking up. Now, when half your face feels numb, waking up with no one around isn't a pleasant experience. I was thinking that the rapture happened or something. Just some random event had wiped out the majority of the human population. Oh good, you're awake. Let's get you out of here. I was waiting for my parents to sign some paperwork. Now I'd just lain down for a few hours with my mouth forced open, so my throat was dry and I was really thirsty. So I asked for a cup of water. I'm sorry, what was that? Sadly, the combination of numbness and gauze in my mouth made coherent speech impossible. I'm still not understanding you. Here I was, dying of thirst, but the power to assuage this need had been robbed of me. I had lost the gift of speech. I had to think fast, so I summoned all of my will to speak. You want pen and paper? Oh, that's what you meant. I'll be right back. For the rest of the day, I talked by writing on a mini whiteboard my parents had, because after I could finally talk, my jaw muscles were still sore enough that speaking hurt. I was pretty tired for the rest of the day. Probably a combination of the pain medication and the eventfulness of that day. I felt a yawn coming on, and since it really hurt to open my mouth, I tried my hardest to suppress it. But there was no stopping it. It came out with great force. I burst a suture from yawning. Yawning! I was told not to burst the sutures, and I burst one from an urge we all have that's nigh impossible to suppress! Thankfully, it still healed over alright. Sadly, dietary restrictions were on the menu again while I healed from surgery. I couldn't eat solid food for a few weeks. It was torment. So obviously, when I could finally eat solid food again, I went on a bit of a bender. So yeah, those are my misadventures in the world of dental health. Hopefully you found this entertaining. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It didn't take me so long this time, thank goodness. I actually never had a problem going to the dentist as a kid, partially because sometimes I'd be able to get out of school early for it. My brother hated going to the dentist. So anyway, if you had a bad experience with your mouth bones and you had to see the dentist, orthodontist, or dental surgeon, tell me in the comments below. But please, no excessively graphic descriptions. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with a friend. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you'll find links in the description. I hope you all have a great summer, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later!